don't even... Okay. Well, I don't... My name is Talon.
Now recording.
The following podcast may have adult humor,
Swear words.
innuendos of a adult nature.
Making fun of me.
That's a given. Everybody looks forward to that. But just know that you have been warned. Jesse, we're back with Blind Nights, and you know, you didn't start talking after I brought the bots in to record.
I did the first bot, but I...
Not the
stopped right
second
away.
one.
Yeah.
You feeling
I knew
okay?
better. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a streak here, though. I've been back for how many now in a row?
This is what, the third one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm like the
telling
Eric
you.
Bischoff song in WWE. I'm back and I'm better than ever.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on that because that's just, you know, not worth it. Just really, really not worth it.
Because you can't give me a compliment, dick.
Nope, I can't because you, sir, are not worth it.
I have given you. I give you compliments after every session, you jackass.
I know, but the thing is, Jesse, even if I was only like 3 foot 5 feet tall, you would still look up to me. Boom! Got
I told
you.
Katie the other day how you tell me to sit down. She laughed hysterically.
It is funny.
Yes, it is.
Alright, but let's get a little bit of this normal stuff out of the way. Remember to check out the Titans by going to the link provided in the show notes. And up until February the 28th, using promo code KOTB, all capital letters,
That's us.
2023, you can get 25% off. So be sure to check that out and support them and buy them. I mean, because they provided a lot of different good things for sighted people, make great gifts, you know, and if you live near Jesse, you can even like throw them at him, you know, so all kind of good stuff that you can use. Well, if you live near Steven or Mitch, you can throw them at them too.
Definitely
You know,
Mitch.
Yeah. Yeah. May throw
Well,
one
I
at
say
Steven,
definitely
but,
Steven. Steven gives me shit all the time.
but you know, Steven will throw back. Mitch will just like
Mhm.
sit there.
Mitch will be
But,
like, thank you. Can I have another?
But also be sure to check out the Knights of the Braille blog at knightsofthebraille.com.
I did that this week.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
/blog, if I can get the link out without someone interrupting me.
Sorry.
Now,
I was just so proud of myself.
Sit down.
knightsofthebraille.com/blog.
And you can read all kinds of blog entries from myself, from Jim on his Mega Dungeon, mine and my monster creation, notes from Steven, and occasionally I'll pop up some Game Master notes up there. So be sure to check it out for really, really interesting. And we'll get to Jesse here in just a moment, because you can also check out the self-promotion channel on our Knights of the Braille Discord and find out some things that we don't post in other places. So be sure to check that out. So, Jesse, tell us about your blog reading.
Well, it was very interesting looking at your different monsters, and boy, Steven take detailed notes. Damn. That's what blew me away the most, is how detailed his notes were.
Oh, I mean, I do the same thing, like,
I know,
more
but I mean,
times
he's
than
doing
not.
it during the session, though.
Yeah, well, he goes back and writes them up, is what he's told me.
Oh, okay, but
You know,
I mean,
to make them readable. But
I mean, yours
yeah,
are good, but I've seen yours before, so I knew like the level you put into yours.
Yeah, I mean, and it really helps somebody who's running the game to have somebody else take notes, because, you know, it keeps like the storyline fresh, and
Yeah,
it's
our
really,
joke
really
in our
beneficial.
sessions, when I was running, was I always change the names of the NPCs because I never remember the names I give them.
If somebody didn't take notes.
Yep.
I'm not saying who, but you know, they were.
Well, a lot
something
of that stuff, to be honest with you, and since I'm not DMing at the moment, I can tell you, I've told you before, but a lot of that stuff I read over, and then go off the top of my head. The only thing I really write down, and this I wouldn't recommend doing this, is just how I've done it because I was getting overwhelmed with notes, is just write down the monsters and their attacks and their hit points.
Yeah, I can run both ways, but the more notes I take, the more I remember. So that's the way it works for me. And also to everyone who was enjoying listening to the audio drama, from our notes, we will unfortunately be stopping that, but I will be adding a recording of the notes at the end of the podcast. But
are you going to do the bard thing like we talked about or not?
I'm not sure.
Because someone mentioned that. I forget who it was.
It was me. I mean, I thought about it. I'll just have to see how it goes. But the program that I was using has changed a lot of their policies, like within a week or two, and they'll quickly be going. Yeah, and it's like, no, just not going to deal with it. That and
to quote an old personal friend of mine, fuck you then.
Yes. And like I said, I've emailed them and asked them about certain things, and they don't respond. So people whose customer support doesn't respond, I'm not going to support. Yeah.
No.
But today we're going to be interviewing, I believe it's your first character, right, Jesse?
It is
a little bit about him and how you came up with him, and then we'll interview him.
As I said before, I always wanted to play D&D and stuff like that, and Jim had a session. I don't know if he did it with everybody, but he had like a Skype thing with me where he helped me create my character. And I decided, okay, my Catholic faith is really important to me, so I'm going to be a paladin. And originally his name was Jesse Kreggor, but then I was like, why the fuck did I give my first name of my character to be my name? But I mean, I was new to it. And then I dropped and his name was just Kreggor. And Kreggor was obviously a holy paladin, and he ended up becoming an oath breaker for a while for some things that happened. And his god actually took his hand as a punishment. I can't remember if it was right hand or his left, or if we ever said. Actually, I don't think we ever said. But he was in the process of getting back in his god's good graces to get his hand back, and the campaign ended. So Kreggor is handless, or is he?
Yeah, he only has one hand. That's how he left.
Yes.
He'll never get it back. For all of character eternity, he's looking at his.
It's like, Jim, could you just say that Kreggor has his hand back, please?
No, Jim, don't do it. Don't give in to the pressure.
Jim probably would too if I asked him. He'd be like, sure, mate.
Nah, Jim's really mean and spiteful.
No,
He'd never do that.
Well, everybody can be spiteful, but I've never seen Jim be spiteful.
I have. He's a good guy, though. We really like
I'm sure
Jim.
it was
At least I
warranted,
like Jim.
I like Jim.
Let's talk to Kreggor now. When you get into character, at least I can't tell it. Your voice doesn't usually change a whole lot, except for your character Emmett. That Mitch runs
you
the
don't
campaign
think
for.
My voice changed for Bodar.
Well, yeah, that's the only two though.
And Talon's voice is a little higher than my regular voice, but you probably can't. Yeah, because to me, I'm talking higher. When I do his voice, it's more like this. But it's not vastly different.
It's not. Not whenever you do it on Tuesday nights.
All I do is raise the pitch of my voice, Richard.
No, that's not how your Talon sounds on Tuesday night. It's not. No,
that's how I wanted to sound, but I think I have so much fun with everybody, I don't think about it.
Yeah. See,
now I'm going to think about it. Now I'm going to focus on
it. We're thinking that, somebody has something that's required there in the pocketbook. But, different story there. So
at least it's not like when I first played the character, when he alternated between having no accent and having a British accent. till I can find my footing.
Oh, so we've got to hear your British accent now that you've mentioned it.
I don't even. Okay. Well, I don't. My name is Talon.
That's actually not bad.
But I would always fall out of it then. Like if I'm reacting to something I wouldn't think about.
Yeah, that's hard to do. I mean,
Yes.
I think I do decent with it whenever I do mine.
Oh, you
but,
do great.
But yeah, it's really easy to fall out of it. So, check out these friends of Knights of the Braille.
Hello, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Alex.
And we're
a couple of characters.
We discuss topics related to creating characters for role-playing games.
We talk about fun characters we've created.
And give advice about how to make your own quirky characters.
Check us out every other week, wherever podcasts are found.
So, Talon, when it comes to adventuring...
Oh, you're going to interview
What?
Talon? I thought you were going to interview Kreggor.
I mean, yeah, Kreggor, yeah. Because you were talking about Talon, popped in my head.
Yeah.
It was sticking there.
Okay. Kreggor is my voice completely, so.
Oh, that should be easy for you. It's
Well,
easy
wait,
for
yeah.
anybody to stay in your normal voice.
Right.
Yeah. So, when it comes to adventuring, Kreggor, making sure, repeat it several times that way it gets stuck in my head. Otherwise, I will keep calling you something else.
Dick
What
face.
got you? You want me to call you Dick? Okay.
No, that's
so-
probably what you would call me.
No, I can't repeat what I would call you, but different story.
You can edit it out.
Not me.
You don't want to do that.
Nope. So that's why I don't do other podcast ideas that are in my head. When it comes to adventuring, what got you started in adventuring?
What got me started in adventuring was basically wanting to help people. I saw all the downtrodden. I saw all the less fortunate and how they were taken advantage of, how they were attacked by goblins, things like that. And I just wanted to help. My family was massacred. I don't know why all adventurers seem like their families were massacred, but my family was massacred, and the monks who found me were monks of Torm, and they raised me in the values of Torm. So when I came of age, I just wanted to help people and, make the world a better place.
And how would you go about making the world a better place?
Rooting out all evil and vanquishing it.
Rooting out all evil, right?
Yes. Oh, I know
So
what you're
you-
going to say now, my friend.
So you're saying that you'll kill anything that's evil?
Anything that
Mhm.
harms others for their own gain, anything that harms others for destruction, anything that harms others to just harm them and takes glee in harming them.
So that's your definition of evil.
Yes.
But what if they believe that they're doing good?
They are clearly harming others for their own, for enjoyment.
Okay. What about whenever you go out and kill these monsters? Is it not murder?
I do it to praise Torm. If Torm is okay with it, then I'm okay with it. Some of them I have to. I don't murder anybody defenseless. I have to stop them from doing whatever they're doing.
Uh-huh. What about the goblins? Do you think they're misunderstood, or you just want to go out and slaughter them? Are they good goblins?
Well, there can be. I've come across some, but I've also come across some that have laid waste to a town and murdered parents right in front of their children and ate the children. So to me, that's evil.
I would agree with that. And what about an orc?
You're not going to trip me up, Richard.
Oh, I bet you I can, because I already have. But that's a different story. What about an orc?
I've met some good orcs. I've met some bad orcs.
Well, I do know that you were an oath breaker there for a little while.
I was.
So, That mean that you broke an oath? Is that not considered evil to break an oath?
I fell out of the good graces of Torm. I basically would not kill a party member just because they were infected with a disease and paid the price for it. And I think I paid the price for it. I only have one hand.
So how did you lose your hand? Like, I know you said that you fell out of grace with Torm, but how physically?
Torm basically ripped it off.
Any pain medicine, any alcohol, or just straight?
Oh, I
Chomp,
didn't even know
chomp.
it was going to happen. Just my hand just fell off, basically. Was torn from my body.
Was that the hand that you used to hold your sword, or was it your dominant hand or your offhand?
I don't think we ever said.
I see. I tricked him up again.
It was my non-dominant hand.
So that would be.
But
your
my sword
offhand.
was two-handed originally.
No, but
Because I had a giant killer blade, so it was two-handed, and so I was limited.
Right. So hopefully people get that joke. Your hand that was taken was your offhand.
Yeah. Ha ha ha!
When you have to explain,
It was
them,
not
they're
my jack-off hand, Richard.
That's not what I'm talking about. Your non-dominant hand is called your offhand.
I know, but I didn't trust you, so I figured you were going for that.
Well, speaking of that, how many brothels did you go in to save the women from the life of horribleness and evil
Not
acts
very
of
many, because
debauchery?
the women actually convinced me in a lot of cases that that's what they wanted to do. I mean, there was a few. Their masters were taskmasters and stuff like that. I liberated them, but the majority of whores wanted to be whores, and that's okay with me.
I've noticed that a lot.
I
Kevin
didn't
Sullivan
partake in
did
them,
it to many.
though, but
Yeah. So you got to watch out for them little Kevin Sullivans. They are horrible, horrible creatures. Quite demonic.
yes, they are, Richard.
So, what was the name of your adventuring party? Or did y'all have one?
We just called ourselves the Knights of the Braille. I believe it was very generic.
Now I have some notes here that say that y'all went through the Feywild, or
We did.
tell us
Fought a
about
dragon.
that. What kind of dragon?
That was a very. I do not remember. It was a big fucking dragon, Richard.
It was a black dragon. See, and I wasn't even there, and I know it was a black dragon.
This was like 4 years ago. Done a
Hmm,
lot since then.
I
But
figured
the
the
Feywild
dragon
was a
would be
very.
really memorable.
The
I wonder
Feywilds
if
was
I'm
a
talking
very.
to the real Kreggor here. Could be a doppelganger.
The Feywilds was a very confusing place. I mean, it seemed like we traveled forever and barely made it anywhere. It's a place I don't want to, if I don't have to, don't want to visit again.
What's your most, well, I would say your most memorable, but you are probably a doppelganger. What's your most memorable adventuring moment? Silence.
I think it would be facing the Mind Flayer.
Tell us about that, or do you remember it, Mr. Doppelganger?
Yes, that thing really messed with my head. It showed me a world in which I was the king and I had killed my squire, and I had to reject being the king in order to get the Mind Flayer to leave me alone. It wasn't that hard because a king's nothing I really ever wanted to be, but the fact that I killed my squire in this world really stuck in my head and, as you would say in the modern language, fucked with my psyche.
Right. So you're saying it sent you over the edge?
Yes.
So is that what turned you to breaking an oath, or?
No, what breaking the oath is when I did not agree with killing my party member that was infected.
Right. I got that, but
That wasn't
this...
the same part of the adventure.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get to.
Also, another thing that if you want to talk about stuff that really messed with me was we dealt with this situation where a plague was coming through, ravaging the towns, and I didn't agree with leaving the townspeople to continue on our journey. Even though I knew we couldn't take them all, I didn't want to leave them to the death of the plague, which is what would have happened to them. It was very, even though I knew it was inevitable that we had to go, it was very hard for me to agree with my party who didn't seem to care about what happened to these innocent people.
So would you say that you're a goody two-shoes then?
I'm not as much now, but in the very beginning of my adventuring career, which would have been with this party, I pretty much was a goody two-shoes. But if you go by the rules, I would say I'm more chaotic evil now. Chaotic good now.
Aha! The
Chaotic
doppelganger
good now.
has arrived.
No, I'm not a doppelganger. Chaotic good now, but I was a bit of a goody two-shoes back then. I think what really changed my opinion as far as being a goody two-shoes was my very surprising friendship with Phoenix. He made me see an alternative.
You believe that? Is he not evil?
I feel he's necessary.
Like he's
I don't
a
think
necessary
I don't think
evil?
he takes. I don't think he takes joy in what he does. I think he does it. He would probably argue with me, I'm sure, but I feel like he does it for the greater good.
Or would you
But he
say
would not agree with that.
Or do you think that he does it because it has to be done and someone needs to do it and he'd rather him do it and take the burden than give it to someone else?
Yes, I think that would be. I don't think he enjoys what he does, but I think if there has to be two sides of a coin, then it has to be him. He'd rather it be him.
Gotcha. And that's very understandable. So what other adventures have you been on since leaving this party?
Well, I slayed a minotaur. Actually cut off his head and stuck his horns up his ass.
And so you like sticking things up rectums?
No, but I felt he deserved it because he ate children.
Understandable.
I've loved, I've lost, I had to lose my horse Lucy, which if you followed our adventures know how beloved that horse was to me. Some cultists targeted her and caught the one area that her armor did not protect with an arrow. So I therefore slaughtered the cultists. I feel like an eye for an eye. They took Lucy, so I took their lives.
So her life, singular, is worth more than their lives combined?
More than evil cultists who wanted to raise a Leviathan demon to bring destruction to the world.
It's all in perspective, isn't it?
How is a demon good for the world?
Does it not bring balance?
No, it brings torment. It wants to rule the world. It doesn't want to bring balance.
But that gives adventurers like you and others something to fight for, something to go after, and something.
I'd rather not have a job. I'd give this job up.
Bum.
No, I'd rather give up the life of adventuring if it meant protecting things.
So you'd rather be what we call a Steven. Yes, I got you. So
I never made you break character as Phoenix.
Kreggor never interviewed Phoenix, but yes,
I never made break character as Phoenix.
That just shows you it's hard for you to stay in character. It's all good. So, is there anything that you'd like to tell future adventurers out there?
All I'd like to say is fight the fight, do what's right. Oh God, that rhymed. And I wouldn't mind teaming up with my friend Phoenix again. It's been too long. And we'd have great debates.
True. If there's nothing else, then I appreciate you stopping by and getting interviewed. And I guess we'll talk at you later on, Kreggor.
It was great. I'll always be available.
I'd give you a high five, but, well, you know.
I have another hand, asshole.
This episode is brought to you by the Knights of the Braille and is made possible through the support of viewers such as you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to get all of the latest information and episodes. Thank you.
blindknowledge.com